Welcome to Kick It Up a Notch, hosted by Megan and Jenny. We're here to bring you lively conversations, inspiring stories, and a little bit of everything in between. Whether it's life, business, or just a good laugh, we're turning up the energy and diving into what makes life extraordinary. Let's kick it up a notch. Welcome to another episode of Kick It Up a Notch. I'm Megan Thomas, and I am here with my brilliant co-host, Jennifer McBride. We are realtors, entrepreneurs, and all-around party people. We're so glad to have you back for another episode. Make sure you check out all of our previous episodes, and as always, please subscribe and follow us on all social media.
We are so glad to have you back. This show is all about talking with some of these incredible people who are making a real difference in our community, whether it's through their business, nonprofit, or innovative ideas. These individuals are shaping the future in ways that often go unnoticed. So today we're kicking it up a notch with Steve Pickering. He's a business savvy fitness expert with over 16 years experience helping men and women achieve their health and weight loss goals.
He is also the founder of Skinny Jane and Lean 180, a program that's transformed the lives of countless men and women, teaching them not only how to lose weight, but how to embrace a healthier, happier lifestyle. Steve is an ACE certified personal trainer, the founder and owner of Body Makeover Fitness for women. He has held NASM personal trainer certification and an ACE weight loss certification, and has passionately trained and helped and transforms hundreds of lives. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Steve.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
So let's just start from the beginning. How did this whole journey start with you?
Okay, well, when I was in high school, I became very interested in weightlifting and nutrition. And probably when I was 16, I really started just reading more about nutrition and eating healthier. And I'd always had kind of an entrepreneurial interest. So I knew that I wanted to go to college and get a business degree, but I always really was desirous of having my own business. So like I had a paper route when I was in school, and I had a lawn care business all through high school and college. But I was always really interested in fitness. So while I was in college, I decided that I was going to start personal training. So I got the materials and studied for the ACE certification, and got that I think when I was around probably 21. And so I personal trained all through college, and I graduated from the University of Southern Indiana with a business administration degree in 1997. And long story short, I ended up starting Body Makeover in 2003, actually on my 29th birthday.
Oh, wow.
So and from when I graduated college to starting that, I had a few different jobs. I moved to Kansas City. I lived in Memphis, Tennessee. Those jobs weren't fitness related, but in the evenings, I still personal train people at gyms in those cities. So anyway, I moved back to Evansville, I believe when I was like 27, personal trained, and then ended up starting my business Body Makeover in 2003.
Okay.
And Body Makeover, that was a like brick and mortar gym?
It sure was. Yep, it was. I was a personal trainer at a local facility in town, and I knew that I wanted to impact and help more people than just doing one-on-one personal training. So I started studying different fitness models, and I was came across an article about Curves, which was the number one franchise for a number of years. I know in the United States it may have been actually in the world, and they had a lot of success with that. And I read that model and I thought, I can do this, but I can do this better. And so that's, long story short, that's how I came up with Body Makeover. And it was a 30-minute circuit, and I marketed it to women. The majority of my clients when I was personal training, probably 70% were women. And I really liked that model, and I thought that it would do well in Evansville. And it did. For a number of years. It did very well.
So you kind of tailored your business towards women, and obviously there was a big market for that. So let's just talk about that a little bit, like the difference. How do you cater a personal training to women different than men? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. That's a fair question. One, just to basically tell you about my business model would probably help with that. The biggest thing with Body Makeover is what I advertised and marketed was 30 minutes, 3 times a week. It was marketed as a women-only facility, so women would feel comfortable there. I didn't have any mirrors because for my research, I read that also helped, women feel more comfortable. And it was a very safe environment also. But as far as like the workout itself, a lot of men are more into putting on bulk and then wanting to gain size. And typically that's, the majority of women, and I can just tell you from my experience over the years, that's not typically what most women want. Some women do, but the majority of women don't want that. And that's probably the biggest difference too.
Right. So women, do you recommend women lift like lighter weight, more reps, or heavier weight? I mean, it seems like men lift heavier weight, less reps, but maybe women need to lift more reps, less weight.
Yeah, it really depends on an individual's goals. But my system, the way it worked is it's called a double positive exercise system. And so there's really not much negative repetitions on the circuit that I had and I had designed. And you would do as many repetitions as you could in, say, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, or a minute. And I varied that usually like weekly. So when you come in to work out, you might be on the stations that day for 30 seconds. The next week you come in, you might be on the stations for a minute. And your goal was to do as many repetitions as you could in the allotted time.
Right.
And it worked very well. It actually surprised me how well it worked.
Yeah.
The women that came in on a regular basis and did that, along with the guidance we'd give them as far as like with their nutrition plan and whatnot, they did very well. And we had a lot
so you not only provided the physical workout, you guys also followed up with nutrition, eating being just as important as the working out.
Yeah, we helped with that.
Was it just you, or how many staff or trainers did you have with you?
I think one time I had 7 employees. I had a couple other personal trainers. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that was 2003, but fast forward to around 2010, 2011, somewhere in there, a lot of other facilities, bigger facilities started opening up in Evansville, and it started greatly impacting my business because unfortunately, a lot of people, especially in the Midwest, they see fitness as a commodity. And so they don't really value, maybe they're not, a lot of people aren't educated on it. The personal attention in an actual plan as opposed to, wow, it's only $10 a month to go work out at this gym. I'm going to go there, even though there's no direction.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting any help. It's $10 a month. So with that said, the YMCA opened up, and that was a huge multi-million-dollar facility. And they offered silver sneakers, which, so if I had clients, I believe maybe, 55 or over, and they could go work out at the Y for free. Free is hard to compete with. And so that impacted my business. And then several other large franchises opened up that were charging around $10 a month. And it had an impact on my business. So fortunately, I was introduced to someone, I think it was in 2011, and he was selling something online out of his garage and doing very well. And I thought, if he can sell what he's selling online, I'm sure that I can sell fitness programs and supplements and protein shakes. And that's really what sparked me to do that. And that was, I believe, in 2011.
Okay.
So when you saw this change of large gyms and franchises opening up, and then this individual you saw was selling stuff, were you doing anything with protein and supplements before
I was,
then?
yeah,
Okay.
out of my business. That's a good question. I sure was. But I was selling other companies' products, not my own. So I found some products that I liked, that I thought were good. And yes, I bought those and then I sold them at my facility. Protein shakes, protein bars, a multivitamin, just a handful of supplements.
Okay. Let's talk about how Skinny Jane and Lean 180 kind of came to be. Tell us like how that started.
Is that the
Absolutely.
product that started from the guy you knew in the garage, or was that just the first step that led you to Skinny Jane? And
He
Lean
led
180?
me to realize that I could have an e-commerce business. So when I started my business, a good friend of mine who I'd personal trained, she had a graphic design degree, and she was just very creative and a phenomenal graphic designer. And so she helped me with the Body Makeover, really with everything, as far as like all my marketing materials, and just the different pictures up in my business or whatnot. I mean, she really helped me a lot. Well, she came up with Skinny Jane. Back and forth, like we kind of went back and forth on names and whatnot. And the reason why she liked that name and I agreed with her and just the logo and everything is that it was fun and non-intimidating. And if you look at my logo, it is like some people over the years have kind of questioned the word skinny, and I totally get that. But once you look at the logo and you get on my website and you read what we're about, you see like I've never promoted being skinny or anything like that. It's just it's kind of a fun take on weight loss, and I'm not taking it too seriously, but yet having good quality products and good plans that work. And I do believe that not being non-intimidating, that was always a big part of Body Makeover too. So when people came into my facility, they didn't feel intimidated, because a lot of people, and I've heard this over the years, and especially because my focus and clientele were women, is that a lot of people were intimidated to go into a large gym, which I totally get that. One, a lot of people don't know what to do. They're not shown what to do. And so they end up dabbling or they end up on a treadmill, and that just typically, it's better than nothing, but it doesn't lead to results. And the thing is with fitness, especially, I mean, if people don't get results, most people don't stick with it.
Right.
They don't. So if they're not seeing some type of change, or even if they're feeling a little bit better, for a lot of people, that just doesn't do it. I mean, a lot of people need to see inches lost or the scale go down a little bit or whatnot. Unfortunately, that's a big part of it. So in my gym, we focused on that. We did weekly weigh-ins and whatnot, and we would do monthly measurements. But also, we knew everyone's name. We made sure people felt comfortable in there. Like, we did everything we could to try to get people to want to come in to work out and have a good experience and leave feeling better than when they came in.
Okay. So let's talk about the protein and the supplements and everything that you're doing now. So
Sure.
Is this a product that you developed, or is this a product that you found that you tell us a little bit more how that came to be?
Okay, I have several protein powder formulas, and then I have a full line of products now compared to when I started Body Makeover and in the beginning years of having my gym. And yeah, these are formulations that I worked on with different manufacturers. And one of your questions for me was, and when I was reviewing the notes, is which one did I think it was like, which one did I work the most on or not? And that was definitely my kids shake. And you'd ask a little bit about that process. Yeah, I've got a shake for kids and teens. It's called GoPro Shakes. And I spent a lot of time on that formulation, a lot of time with the formulator and the manufacturer. And as far as that process, how that works is I would send them what I want. They would formulate it and then send me samples. I would taste it. I would have family, friends, other people sample that and get feedback. And I just go back and forth with them, tell them what, and I'd studied protein shakes and tasted a lot of protein shakes. So I had a strong working knowledge on, the basis and the building blocks of a good protein shake. And after it probably took, I would say, a year to get that formula perfected to where, I thought, okay, this is good. Kids really like it. It's healthy. It's unique, and I believe in it. And all of my protein powders I personally use. So,
by perfected, you liked the taste and you got good feedback on the taste, and then the
Yes.
ingredients were you deemed they were healthy for consumption. So did you have like kids test it with working out, or have them test it for a year to see if they felt better? Like, how did those details come about? Because taste is important to get people to consume it, but how did you start seeing like the results to where it was gonna
especially with kids. And as far as results, that wasn't, I really didn't do testing on that because it's more of a health drink, if you will. So it's good for breakfast. It's good for post-workout. If a kid plays soccer or basketball or baseball or anything like that, it's very nourishing, really pre or post-workout. And then a lot of parents really struggle with giving their kids something healthy that tastes good. And that was something important to me. And then breakfast. I mean, a lot of people and a lot of kids just don't eat breakfast. And I'm a big believer in eating breakfast. So, or getting something in your system, especially a good form of protein, just helps your metabolism, helps your energy, helps your blood sugar levels. Like, it's, I'm a big believer in it.
I think that's a really interesting approach, because I don't always see a lot of kid-friendly healthy alternatives. Like, you think of adults trying to work on their weight loss, get in the gym. I don't see, or didn't when this all kind of became a big thing, focusing on kids. So that was a really cool, interesting approach I think you took there.
Yeah, I'm still excited about that product, but I think it's a great product. It's been challenging marketing that. And I do sell it on several platforms like Amazon or Walmart and my websites. And I
What's
always
been
felt like,
challenging about marketing it, you said?
um, out of all my products, it's probably been one of the hardest to market because I feel like it's one of my best products, but just getting it to parents and children, and yeah, it's been very challenging. We have a pretty good core following. We have a lot of repeat customers for it, but honestly, it's one of those products that it's never taken off like I thought it would, and that happens.
Yeah. So I can tell from my experience, because I've used your products, the one thing that I like the taste for sure. It's one of the best tasting products that I think is out there, and I've tried several. And then two, when I don't know about Megan, I know you're doing protein shakes and nows too, but it doesn't leave the aftertaste that a lot of protein shakes do. Like I always felt like I had to go and brush my teeth real quick before having a
Mhm.
conversation with anybody. And still, I thought I didn't feel that need, although, I might have needed to anyway, but I didn't feel that need to do that with it. So
Yeah,
that's,
absolutely. I'm glad
yeah,
to hear that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So has there ever been a fear about doing this in such a competitive market? Because obviously you have to stand out with all of the other protein companies, out there. Because the proteins and things, supplements that you can get at the vitamin shop, you can get online
Absolutely.
too. So,
Yeah, you're right.
how do you battle that?
That's a good question. Truthfully, though, I thought about that. I was reflecting on when I started this and whatnot. I never really was fearful. My enthusiasm and my passion and my belief, I guess, just maybe smothered any fear that I would have had. That was a good question, and I'm glad you asked me that because it made me think about that. I was like, no, I never really was fearful, the reason why I think that's such a good question is you're right. There is a ton of competition, and if I knew everything, and I think a lot of business people are probably this way. If I knew everything I was going to have to do, and everything I went through, I'm glad I didn't when I started my business.
Hmm.
Yeah. So with that said, selling on Amazon has been extremely competitive, and I was fortunate enough to start selling on there. I believe it was in 2012. But over the last probably 4 or 5 years, you just have a lot of sellers from China selling protein powders and just all kinds of people, and it pushes your product down. There's almost no way around it. And I don't have the fear now, but I'm very aware of all the competition. While there's always been a lot of competition, there's way more now, like on Amazon, for
Yeah.
example. If we just focus on Amazon, maybe when I started in 2012, let's say there were a few thousand. I'm just guesstimating. Now there's, I don't know, who knows,
Hmm.
thousands and thousands of people selling protein powder.
Yeah. Well, you had mentioned to me whenever we talked that you have quite a few clients from Canada.
I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
Canada is a large market for me. I had some issues on my Amazon account in March of last year. And so that really impacted my business greatly. And while I still sell on Amazon, it's been very challenging, both in Canada and in the United States. And so, fortunately, one thing I did early on is I made a point to get on as many platforms as I could. I do, like I mentioned, I sell on Walmart.com. I sell on Walmart Canada. I have my own websites. My products are listed on eBay, although that's not a major source of orders for us. We do get some sales on eBay. And then there's other websites that we also sell on that help us with search engine optimization.
So along that line, with anybody who might be listening and thinking about, purchasing your stuff, what do you believe makes yours better than just going somewhere and picking something up?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, one, my products are like my protein powders. They're manufactured in the United States. Every batch is tested. My manufacturer sends them off to a testing lab before they will release the products to me. So you can rest assured that what you're getting, what it says on the label is actually what's in the bag. And it tastes good. We use a sweet whey. And the word sweet can be misleading because it's not sweet like sugar sweet. It's just a lighter, really good tasting whey. And that's one of the biggest differences in our protein shakes. And that is one reason why they do taste good. I've worked hard on the formulas and I personally use them. And rarely ever do we get someone that has any type of a digestive issue with our shakes. And that is huge because a lot of people do have issues with like protein powders. I can just tell you that from being in the business for so long. And rarely ever do I get any type of feedback where someone has some type of issue with our shake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know the one that I've been drinking is, I think there's 1 or 2 grams of sugar in it. So basically none.
And
But
it's naturally occurring. So it's not added sugar, it's just naturally occurring.
Right. So even somebody that might be diabetic or something, that could be perfect for them. I mean,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's not going to elevate their blood sugar.
Yeah.
With your journey, because you've said it many times with your research and passion, and you started off by saying you knew you wanted to run your own business. Do you feel like your business administration degree influenced where your business ended up going? Or do you really think that was more about your passion and determination? Like, how much did, when you were sitting in those college courses, graduating with your business administration degree, did you feel like that helped push your journey with Skinny Jane and Lean 180? Or did you realize it was more just learning as you do it and your passion and research that really got it where it is?
Sure. I think my business administration degree gave me a great foundation. Like I said, I've always been entrepreneurial ever since I was a little kid, actually. So I think probably regardless, I was going to be an entrepreneur. But my business degree definitely, I think, jumped me further ahead on the learning curve. And from my management classes to my marketing and sales classes, which helped me immensely, especially when I first started my gym because I had to sell memberships. And it really wasn't hard for me, one, because I had some classes on sales, direct sales like that. And then I totally believed in what I was selling. So it was just, it was a good fit for me. And then my accounting classes. So everything in college, those classes really just laid a good foundation for me to be able to be more efficient when I started like Body Makeover. I think it would have taken me a lot longer and I would have struggled a lot more than I did if I didn't have that foundation, without a doubt. So yeah, I was very fortunate and happy that I went to college and I got a business degree, and I've never regretted that ever. And I always tell people that you'll never regret getting an education. You won't look back and think, I wish I wouldn't have gotten that degree.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I like hearing. A lot of that word entrepreneurial, I've just talked with several people and they struggle with, I just want to get out there and learn it. And it's sometimes nice hearing that other side too, that
well, I think
not to say that you have to get a degree to be a successful entrepreneur or be successful, but it definitely helped me.
But that business foundation mixed with that entrepreneurial spirit, because I think some people had that passion, but when they saw these big gyms open up, like you said in 2011, 2012, was it, oh man, that worked for a little while, what else do I do? Or you seem to say you noticed it, you acknowledge it, and then you pivoted right into something else. So all your hard work didn't go away. And that I think comes a lot with understanding, income and expenses that comes with business administration and that entrepreneurial spirit, having a really good balance of both what you believe in.
Yeah, I also think that when you graduate high school and you're 18 years old, like most of us were, were we ready to be an entrepreneur? Like, we needed to grow up and learn a schedule and be living on our own a little bit and that sort of thing. I know that there's amazing young people out there and do it, but I needed to grow up a little bit before I went out and started my own business.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, yeah. So what's next, Steve, for you? Where do you see this going? Are you going to continue or just continue to build this business, work on getting new customers, which we want people to come to you for all of their supplement and protein needs. But is there anything in the future that you're looking at?
Yeah, one thing that's I'm pretty excited about is I started a TikTok shop uh, maybe
Okay.
maybe 3 or so months ago, and I have someone, a freelancer, that's helping me, and she's doing a good job building our TikToks, and I have several of my products on TikTok shop. I will tell you, it was it was way more challenging to get my products and get all that going than what I thought it would be. So you hear of a lot of success, or supposed success stories on TikTok. It's definitely with supplements. It's challenging to get supplements listed and approved on there. It was not a smooth process for me personally, but I do have a shop. We do have a TikTok page. We do have TikToks up. We have not gotten a sale yet. So I'm just,
Okay.
being forthright so when other people hear, well, God, there's all kinds of people making money on TikTok. It must be easy. It's not. It is
Mm-hmm.
not. And I have experience. I built a very successful Amazon business. Same thing with Walmart.com, selling, on these e-commerce platforms. TikTok, I think, was about the worst and the most frustrating as far as just getting approved and getting my products on there and connecting everything. So I'm hoping it does pay off.
Do you feel like
Yeah.
those challenges with TikTok, is it the population you're going in front of a lot with TikTok? Is it because it's like an FDA supplement medical kind of thing? What do you think like the biggest challenge getting with TikTok was compared to like Amazon and Walmart?
A lot of it was just working on the platform itself and understanding how to it's not cut and dried, setting up your shop, connecting your TikTok account to your shop, documents you have to upload. Um, yeah, after I got it all set up, I was like, wow, I did that. But if I had to do it over again, I couldn't really sit here and tell you exactly how I did it all, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it done. I was patient. And that's another thing about being an entrepreneur. You have to have thick skin and you have to be persistent.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be persistent.
There's not
Not an easy
immediate
button.
gratification. I mean,
Nope.
it's you
You can't rest
fail
on your
over and
laurels
over.
either. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a difference
So
between someone wanting to say they have a TikTok shop to the person who went through all of that nitty gritty documents, knows frustration, and actually got the TikTok shop. They did the work to get there and didn't stop.
yeah, and I didn't want to sugarcoat anything with telling you about TikTok because it wasn't easy and it hasn't been a great experience. But I'm hopeful that it'll turn into a good experience. But like I said, I mean, we've done a lot, but we haven't got one sale on there, which just it kind of blows me away. But we're still chipping away, working at it. And I don't claim to be an expert with the TikTok shop at all. One thing about me, if I'm not an expert at something, I find someone that is, and that's another
Yeah.
thing I've done for years. I've surrounded myself with people that are a lot smarter in whatever area I need help with than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think that's really important.
Yeah.
So, with your years of experience and pivoting and changing and being really passionate about your product and helping and changing people's lives, because that's what all that hard work comes down to and what you're doing, what has been the advice you feel like you've given most over the years of someone who is starting a weight loss journey or doesn't know where to start with a weight loss journey? Like, what has been like the most important advice you think, with all of your knowledge and experience, you can give someone who wants to start this journey, take the risk of ordering a product like that, and really stick with it and see changes?
Well, what I used to tell people, when I worked more one-on-one with people and I had a lot of interaction with people coming in my gym, um, is I think the most important thing when you've decided, I need to do something, like I want to feel better, I want to lose some weight, I want to be healthier, it's to move. Because when you move, you impact your mind. And typically, when you move, you feel better. And when you feel better, typically it's easier to eat better. And so I always encouraged people to start with exercise instead of starting with a diet. And most people cannot make two major changes at once. So it's better to start with exercise and start working out. And typically people, I'm not saying they eat perfect, but a lot of people find themselves, they start eating better when they start exercising or even just moving, going for a walk or riding their bike or just getting in some type of movement daily, to me, is key. But once you start moving, and if you think about it, a lot of people don't move much. A lot of people sit all day long. They come home, they get on the couch, they watch Netflix. We're not meant to just sit and lie around all the time. And so to, your question, that's what I usually recommended to people. And that doesn't sound like, I know it's nothing magical or whatnot, but a lot of people need to move to get moving. And then typically what I would do at Body Makeover is, after someone got into a routine, maybe say after 30 days or whatnot, then we would talk to them more about nutrition. And typically just trying to improve one or two things a week is what worked very well for a lot of our clients. Now online, that's a little harder, obviously, because, people are ordering my products and ordering my plans. And my plans do, always encourage people to move. But same thing with my plans, they typically build upon themselves. So I'm not trying to get someone to make 20 different changes week one.
So the plans that you sell also with
like
your nutrition start off with like that real basic core foundation and slowly implement.
Eating plans on my website. Yeah. But to me, just moving is one of the most important things. And then also checking in with somebody, to weigh in once a week and do measurements maybe once every 2 weeks, or typically that's what I would recommend, some type of checking in with someone to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah, I think that all of that is important, although sometimes it can get I know, at least for me, starting my journey, it got a little frustrating because you didn't feel like you were seeing results. And I think another key point is stick with it. Like, just keep going, don't stop, keep going, and ultimately over time you're going to see results.
Yeah, absolutely. And having an accountability partner helps out immensely with that. Or even like a workout partner, having somebody that you walk with or you go to the gym with or you take yoga with, it does help to have some type of accountability partner. And even if that person can't work out with you, you can encourage each other. Hey, did you go to the gym today? Did you get your walk in? It just definitely helps.
Right.
And I think with anything that's hard, humans naturally complicate things. Really, it's simple, but not necessarily easy. Instead of sitting on the couch watching your favorite show, choose to get up and walk around. Instead of taking the elevator, take the stairs. And I love that you mentioned how challenging it is for humans to change two big things at once. Going from being very sedentary to moving is a huge change for a lot of people, sometimes physically on their body, creating that habit, as well as, oh my gosh, being aware of everything I eat, because it is silly. You don't realize how unpleasant and how bad the things you're eating feel until you start removing those from your body and then working out. And then if you try to enter in that bad food again, your body can go, oh, we remember this, but now it doesn't feel as good. You're sluggish. So sticking with and giving yourself grace has been a huge, I know, personal journey for me.
The other thing I can tell you too is, and I'm glad you said that because it made me think of this, keeping a food diary. And a lot of people, don't want to do that. But when you write it down, that is the number one tool for weight loss.
Yeah.
It is keeping a food journal. And I used to help people with that. And I would have them, well, one, I had my graphic designer make booklets for us that we gave to all of our new members. It was a food journal. And I think it had like 60 days worth where they could track everything that they ate and whatnot. And we did it so, it probably wouldn't take more than 5 minutes, maybe 5 to 7 minutes a day. But essentially we'd have them write down what time they ate, what they ate, serving size, and calories. And they could track protein and whatnot if they want to, but for a lot of people, that's going to be too much. Mm-hmm. So we just had them, time, food, serving, and calories, just so they could become aware of what they're eating. Because a lot of people, and I learned this from doing this for so many years, if you ask a lot of people, what did you have to eat yesterday? They can't tell you because so many people are mindless eaters. And they maybe can think, well, yeah, a lot of people really have to think about it. Like, what did you eat yesterday?
Yeah.
A lot of people will struggle with telling you, and that's a lot of people when they eat, they're on their phone, they're watching something, and really, when you eat, you should be focused on what you're eating. A lot of people, even me at times, don't do that. But if you read the research, you know, people should slow down and really focus on what they're eating. It disturbs me when I'm driving and I'll look over at a stoplight and I see somebody like eating a sandwich, like in their car at the stoplight. I think, God, that's so awful. I mean, because you really can't even enjoy that, you know? But so many people
Mindless
do that.
eating, I think, is such a powerful statement that should be in people's awareness and vocabulary, because that awareness of what you're eating, how much you're eating, and again, that simple change of instead of have that bag of chips in front of you, pick out the serving size, even if they're starting so small, even if they're bad chips, say they're Doritos, but instead of having the whole bag of Doritos in front of you, pick out 15 and then put the bag away. Like
That's
sometimes
very
for
wise
people,
too.
that's the
Always.
smallest step,
Yeah.
because mindless eating, before you realize that whole bag's gone.
Yeah. You got to pour it out into a small bowl or something like that. Yeah. There are many, I'm glad you said that. There are a lot of tips like that, but I always really try to keep it simple for people, especially in the beginning, because I know, and this is from doing a lot of one-on-one training with people, if you overwhelm people or you make something too complicated, they're just not, most people aren't going to do it. They might do it for a couple days, but then the problem with that is too, they feel like they fail, and nobody likes to feel like a failure.
Yeah. Because then it goes into, well, no, I've tried everything.
Tried
Nothing's
everything.
ever worked for me. I always never see results. Those like all or nothing statements are easier for us to believe than I stuck with something hard and pushed through it when I wasn't seeing things, because it didn't come on in 2 weeks. It's not going to fall off in 2 weeks.
Absolutely. I used to tell people the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I know on the reverse for me, like working out and lifting weights and everything, I know for me, it's hard not to eat enough. So when you are moving and you are, wanting to see results and I mean, eating enough good things. Okay.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not going to McDonald's or anything like that and eating,
Yeah.
but when you start burning the calories, you need to replace some of those calories. And I know for me, it's been very challenging to eat enough,
Yeah.
during that time.
That's what's so sad. And you had said this earlier, Steve, once you make the decision yourself to start looking into these changes and learning, you have to unlearn so much. And then when you start educating yourself, it's like, why, of all the things on the list we aren't taught, what were they teaching us in health class? They never taught us that if you eat more proteins, you're fuller throughout the day, you burn more calories, and you want to eat less because you feel fuller longer. Like, what in the world were they teaching us in health class
That's
when
true.
it
You're right.
seems, again, so simple? You start doing the research and implementing it. It's like, I'm eating a lot of food, but I'm eating the right food. So I feel fuller longer, and I'm not having to constantly be snacking on stuff. Like, it starts getting frustrating when you see all the bad stuff that is being pushed towards us. And easier. We live busy lives. Simplicity. It does take a very aware choice to not run through the drive-through and get Chick-fil-A French fries and chicken nuggets, but going home and cooking something. So I like that you said it does start with the choice. It is not going to happen on accident. You have to be purposeful with what you're deciding to do with your body.
The other thing I'll tell you too is, and a lot of people don't like to hear this, but when you look at the studies, there's like a national weight loss study. And I'm sorry, it escapes my mind right now what it's called, but there was a very large study on weight loss a number of years ago. And the one thing that always stuck out in my mind, people that were the most successful at losing weight and keeping it off, they weighed themselves every day. And a lot of people, weigh myself every day, and a lot of people don't want to look at the scale. But to me, people also use that as an excuse. That's what I found in my business. It's if you don't see it, then it's easier just to really not think about it, or have to confront it. But yeah, people, I don't know if it's called the National Weight Loss Registry or something like that, but that always stuck out in my mind. People that had lost weight and kept it off and had done the best, they weighed themselves every day.
That's so contrary to anything that I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I when I read that though. And if you think about it, if you really think about that, then it does make sense, because every day you're checking in.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, all it takes is a couple days, a week, and they're They're, old habits die really hard.
Yeah.
And so all it takes for a lot of people is, a few days or a stressful day or whatnot, and then they're totally off their plan. And so you can see that and I'm not, that's just the research. The people that weighed in every day not only lost the most weight, but then they kept it off compared to people that did not weigh in daily.
So kind of ending with just another sort of advice for someone listening wanting to start this. We're getting out of the holiday season. People are kind of still in their health kick, but school activities are picking up. The busy parents who are on the run with kids. What is the little thing they can implement to start with success? Meal planning? Is it being purposeful with what they're eating? Like, what is something a busy family, a busy mom, a busy dad with busy kids could put into place to balance that lifestyle of trying to be healthy?
Well,
Take that excuse.
That's somewhat of a general question. I mean, I think probably what I would recommend, because there's many things, I would just focus on breakfast, because a lot of busy people, busy moms, busy kids, they don't eat breakfast. And especially for kids going to school, it's been shown that kids that eat breakfast do better in school. Their behavior is better. They do better on tests. So to me, that needs to be, that's foundational, is that you need to make sure that you and your children are having some sort of breakfast. I mean, I'm not saying that somebody has to have a shake every morning, although I do have, we have thousands of customers that do start their day with one of our shakes. The GoPro shake, it probably takes a minute or two to make one of those shakes, and most kids really enjoy that. And then you can put other things in that shake, whether it's berries or some natural peanut butter, to add for the nutrition and up the calories. To me, that's one of the most important things, though, is having breakfast, and then really just sitting down and making some type of a plan. Having a plan's very important, and then working your plan. Breakfast to me that would be the starting point.
Right. Well, Steve, we definitely want to help you with your products and get more people coming to you for sales. And so, where is the best place that people can go to find your stuff?
SkinnyJane.com or lean180.com.
Okay.
So either one of those websites. My SkinnyJane.com is geared more toward females, and Lean180 is geared more toward men.
Okay, great.
Well,
Great.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. SkinnyJane.com or lean180.com. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening today. Be sure to follow Steve and look for his products. If you have any questions, share on our social media thoughts and concerns you've had about your weight loss journey. Make sure to use hashtag KickItUpANotch. Be sure to follow us and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Stay connected with us on social media, and we want to hear from you. Like I said, let us know what you heard from today's episode, questions you want to ask Steve, or what you've struggled with or have empowered through with your weight loss journey. So until next time, let's all keep working together to kick it up a notch in everything we do.
Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thanks for tuning in to Kick It Up a Notch. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Until next time, keep reaching higher and kicking it up a notch.